What's good? What's really good, everybody? Ricky Montalvo back here with you again. It's week 11, the NFL 2023 season, coming off a disappointing, to say the least, week 10 outing from your boy. Now, we'll get to that in just one second. On the year, we are 17, 14, 57%, but now sitting at 1.6 units after a couple push weeks and now a -1 losing week, going 1-2 on the week. And I'm going to get into that right now. Browns +6 we were on. Fantastic. Awesome cover from the Browns. I told you last week, Myles Garrett needs to be considered for the MVP. He wrecked that game, and Deshaun Watson turned it on in the second half. I cannot believe we covered that number after he threw a pick six, like I think literally on his first attempt of the game, straight to the defender. But this is what the AFC North does. When you give us too many points, we cover. And the Browns on the outright, I mean, if you sprinkled some on the money line, good for you. I wouldn't have had the juice to do that. But Browns +6, awesome cover. Bengals -6.5. A loss, I'm not really mad about it. CJ Stroud showing a lot of clutch, a lot of promise. He's now entered the MVP conversation. I thought this was a nice come down to earth spot for him, but they pulled up. And unfortunately for me, giving these picks on a Tuesday, I can't handicap T. Higgins not being a part of the game plan. The news came out after I gave the pick on Wednesday. He popped that hammy, and I figured he wasn't going to be there for that game. I still like the position when it dropped down to 5.5, but nonetheless, it just sucks when you don't have that another X factor weapon like T. Higgins out there. So hopefully you just enjoyed that game and didn't let the loss of the bet bother you too much. So and now we're going to go to what I really want to talk about, which is the Jets -1.5, +1, whatever the fuck you took it at. I sat here last week and I begged you guys to back the Jets with me. And if you did it, thank you so much for giving me your trust. And I'm sorry that I violated it. I'm sorry Zach Wilson violated it and that the coaching game plan for the Jets violated it by allowing the Raiders to sit there and play field position with their punter and keep them from maintaining that awesome lead that we got early on. Zach Wilson had a tutty, stepped out. I get it. It happens. Really bad luck. It just is what it is. But man, what a shit game plan from the Jets, who outpaced the Raiders that game in the metrics. And then you let Josh Jacobs take control later on. You don't kick the field goal late in the game. You think that Wilson's going to drive later on. I mean, just unbelievable. I would back that position again. It pisses me off for this reason here. I don't give out these picks lightly. I know it's all fun and games, but I know some of you may be putting on some hard-earned money, and I want to give you that ROI. And it frustrates me that you have a shit Raiders team that gets to sneak away with that cover. What's my lesson of the week? It's a reminder. Don't get too emotional about betting. I'm pretty hot right now. I got something cooking up. I've been cooking up. And I'm going in right now. Week 11 for Ricky's picks. Let's get this. Raiders at Dolphins, noon at Hard Rock Stadium. The line currently sitting at 12. I think I've seen this number move a little bit. Let me double check momentarily. Yeah, we're getting some 11. There's 11.5 out there at a very, very, very public book that doesn't pay me to shout them out. And then, yeah, we got a lot of 12s, 12.5 out there. I am going to show you how shit the Raiders are. Give me the Dolphins -12 at home. I hate taking large favorites. It's just, in the NFL, it's really tough positions to back because so many things can happen late in the game that can push you out of the number. All the money, all the tickets on the Dolphins. This number is going to grow. I don't give a shit. It's going to go from 12 to 12 and a half to 13 and potentially balloon more as injury reports come out. We don't really know the status of Waddle and Reek. I think they'll be good to go. I don't know so, though. You can bet this at 12, 12 and a half. When it gets to 13, a little rough on that. Hopefully, you can, by the time you get this on a Wednesday, you'll still have some 12s hanging out there for you. This is a classic Miami spot this year. It's Tua at home against a shit team that had no business beating the Jets last week. The Raiders should have lost Sunday. And I'm going to take Tua at home against a bad team, grabbing this number. I've said enough about this. This is not an emotional bet for me. I'm putting my money on it. Like I said, I don't give out picks and then not back those positions. Taking Miami here. This Antonio Pierce thing should have died a death as of last week. The good times, the good vibes, the way they celebrated after they had won the game the previous week before that. Just a great time to buy Miami here. Back the Dolphins, minus 12. Swallow all those points with me. We got this. First pick of Ricky's picks. And moving on to the number 2, we have the Steelers at the Browns. Line currently tucked in at the 4 at Cleveland Browns Stadium. That's what they call it, Cleveland Browns Stadium, apparently. There you go. Public and the money on the Steelers. Touch of the reverse line action here as tickets are coming in on the Steelers, but the number's dropping. We always love to see that. This is AFC North football at its best. Typically, when you're getting big numbers, anything 4 and above, that's what you want to back. We did it last week with the Browns. Why would we do it again this week with the Steelers? The Steelers are one of the luckiest teams in football. I was actually on the Packers last week at a 3.5, which they should have covered. But Josh Degora on an extra point decided to not move from his position on special teams and allowed the Steelers to block the extra point. The luck for Steelers covering is just absolutely outrageous. But I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to back the pass rush of the Steelers. They have 3 of the best pass rushers in all of football that are getting after it. Hightower, TJ Watt. It's just the defensive line is wrecking shop, and they're muddying up these games, and they bring people down to where they are. And they just somehow manage to find the points when they need them. It's wild. I do think it's a lot of luck, but I think it's also a lot of great coaching, of course, with Mike Tomlin. Back him catching 4 in this stupid division on the road. This is just what they do. Watson may have turned a corner in the second half of that game last week. He came out looking like ass the first half. I thought that bet was dead against the Ravens, but I guess we'll see. The Steelers get outgained in like every metric, but they just, like I said before, they find ways to score. And I'm going to take the points here, +4. This was an easy bet for me to make, like the Dolphins was. The board is so clean this week. Give me the Steelers. Mike Tomlin +4, AFC North football. Dumpster fire. Let's go. And finally, the third pick, Ricky's picks. I got an ugly one for you. Y'all like you some big favorites? You're all going to love you some big dogs then, all right? That's what we do. We back big dogs to the roots. We have the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Bank of America Stadium, the Carolina Panthers. Shout out Manny Fresh. I got something for you. The public all over Dallas. We saw what happened last week. They clapped the Giants. Duh, because they don't really have a quarterback. They have a third stringer who is just not, he's not an NFL caliber quarterback whatsoever. This is pros Joes all the way. Line tucked at the 10.5. Professionals on the Panthers. Public all over the Cowboys. This line is inflated as hell because of that score we saw last week versus the Giants. This is absolutely an outrageous line. No business hanging this. This should be 7.5 to me. Dallas is ass on the road. We've seen their home road splits. I'm not going to give you all the data. Just go look at their schedule. Just Google Dallas Cowboys and see how they have done at home versus on the road. They're not good. They blow up these teams at home where they're really comfortable, where Dak is really comfortable. The Panthers play better at home on the other side of the ball. On the other side of the ball, the Panthers, they're kind of the reverse of that. They don't do well on the road, but when they're at home, you can back them. Back them here. You're just playing the number. You don't need to break down the X's and O's of this one. The Panthers have enough juice to keep this floating around the number. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Panthers pulled off the upset. I ain't going there. I'm not saying to bet that. I'm just telling you this number is way too big. Cowboys, now that I think about it, also kind of looking like they're sandwiched with the schedule here. So they just had the Panthers, the Giants. Now they have the Panthers and they have the Commanders on deck next week. So they might be looking to that. I don't know. I don't care. Give me the 10.5. Give me the bounce back. Give me a fucking sweep of the board. Let's go. Let's bounce it back, baby. I love this board. I love these picks, and you should too. Don't fade any of them. Take all three, please. I'm not going to give you a bonus bet because I want you to bet these three. Because some of you have messaged me that watch this video and go, I backed you here, but didn't back you there. Don't do that. If you're going to ride with me, fucking ride with me. Take all three picks. All right. I got all out of my system. Hopefully you did too. If you've been backing me, thank you so much. This means the world to me, guys. I am trying. I don't give a fuck about my money. When I give out picks, I want you guys to cash. I want you to have that feeling of what it's like to sweep a board or go 2-1, just knowing you did it. I want you guys to have that. I had other positions that cover me and beyond. You know, I can't give out everything on a Tuesday. I'm trying to do this for you guys and for this experiment. I want it to succeed. Ride with me, baby. Get in the trenches on all three. This has been Ricky's Picks and Ricky's moment of zen. And I will see all of you in those trenches of week 11. We'll be seeing.